lots of thoughts trying to come out at the same time. But,
Shadow Defence Secretary, the state of the military overall right now, who is more responsible for it? The party that is in government for 14 years. You yourself have said how long it takes to spend money and get results in defence. Who is more responsible for the current state of the military? The party that was in government for 14 years until 6 months ago, or the party that's been in government for 6 months?
So I am saying we are responsible for the actions we took to stand by Ukraine, which have had clearly an impact on our inventory, because we gave them missiles, we gave them tanks, artillery. We actually 500,000 shells. Now, not all of them were from our inventory, but 500,000 artillery shells. That's had an impact. And we had a plan to deal with that. And if it had been affected in July, when I said it should have been, when I became Shadow Defence Secretary, this country would be in a better position. And the government need to be held to account for that, because they made a choice on that. They brought forward taxes like national insurance, which is going to hit the defence industry, instead of firing up our defence industry with the orders they should have been placing. So I do hold them to account for that. But as I said to you, I do support the Prime Minister in going to see the President. We agree on both sides of the House about the need to stand by Ukraine. We want them to have a strong voice in these negotiations. They're my priorities, and we will continue both to hold the government to account on getting out that money, placing the orders, procuring, so that we strengthen our armed forces, but we also support them very strongly in the way that we want to ensure Ukraine has a fair and strong shout in these negotiations.
But seemingly take no responsibility for 14 years of action. I note that you didn't answer the question. We are out of time. James Cartlidge, thank you very much for your time.
Tory MP, as per usual, dodges tough question on UK defence spending. Hey everyone, it's fantastic to watch a good journalist doing their job, holding politicians to account. Wilfred Frost did just that when he spoke to now Shadow Defence Secretary James Cartlidge. Like many others in his party, Cartlidge seems to have it deeply ingrained in his DNA to avoid taking responsibility for the mistakes of previous governments, especially when it comes to funding public services, or in this case, the military. Cartlidge was attempting to attack the Labour government, which has been in power for less than a year, for the state of the armed services and forces. Wilfred wasn't letting him get away with it, though. Now we're going to see the Tories continue to deny the actions of the last 14 years. They'll continuously blame the Labour Party, regardless of the facts. Something interesting, though, came up regarding military spending. The Tories had been spending public money on accommodation for military families, and it was going into the private sector. The new Labour government decided to end that and buy the properties, saving taxpayers a huge amount of money whilst upgrading the infrastructure for military families. That's a massive saving that the new government has achieved, something that the Tories didn't do. Of course, the Tories didn't invest enough in the military during their time in power. The size of the military was reduced. And as for housing, the Tories didn't invest in fuck all there either. Expecting the Tories to keep returning to the issue at every opportunity is going to be common. Accusing the Labour government of not doing enough, much like Nigel Farage stands on sidelines pointing fingers, saying you're not doing it right, for the next few years they'll criticise the Labour government, which has managed to do more than for the military in just 6 months than the Tories did in 14 years. Notice what he did there. Notice what he did here, though. Instead of answering the question, he started talking about Ukraine. He diverted the conversation to the support the UK has given to Ukraine. He didn't mention military families, the lack of investment in rebuilding the military, or the significant drop in the number of soldiers. He just focused on a topic that could be presented as a positive and ignored the negatives. The Tories ran the military like every other government department into the ground during their time in power, and now they don't want to talk about it. Cartlidge wants to wipe the slate clean and start fresh, hoping people will forget what his party did while they were in power and then re-elect them in 4 or 5 years' time. It's not going to happen. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And feel free to buy me a metaphorical beer from the link in the description. See you next time, guys. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.